So that's what the A35 AMG sounds like. We put this on our social media handles and asked you guys what you want to know about the A35 AMG. This is our new format where we will be taking your questions on our test cars. And before we proceed, I must tell you, a lot of you all have asked us about this cool W124 t-shirt. We are giving this away in a contest. We want to know from you what you think of our new format. Drop it in the comments and the coolest wins this t-shirt. So moving on to your queries on the A35 AMG, and we will start with the one question that we do not have an answer for, and that is pricing. As of now, there is a benchmark, and that benchmark is the M340i. A lot of you have asked us about the comparison between the A35 and the M340i. That will be our conclusion, but the M340i is priced at 62.9 lakh rupees. So we estimate the A35 to be between 50 and 55 lakhs of rupees. And now moving on to the other queries on ride, on handling, on styling, on interiors, on performance, and whether the A35 is a proper AMG. So how different is the A35 AMG from the regular A-Class? Well, it starts with the styling. At the front, on the nose, the regular A-Class gets single slats, whereas the A35 AMG gets twin slats. It also has a different bumper, which is more sporty, more aggressive. You can see the aggressive front splitter, these nostrils. So it does look different, a little more sporty. Over on the side, the A35 AMG is the same limousine as a regular A-Class. It is not the hatchback, but you do get 18-inch wheels. The A-Class gets 17s. You get the turbo 4MATIC badge out here. You get these wider sills, and it does sit lower. In fact, you have to be careful because it can touch over the more nasty speed breakers. Over at the rear, most noticeable is this boot spoiler, and down here, you get proper twin exhaust tips. These are not fake exhausts. You get proper twin exhaust tips. You get this mock diffuser kind of effect, and that all in gloss black contrasts very well with the rest of the car. And from the rear, the A35 AMG actually looks really cool and very different from the regular A-Class. Plus, this sun yellow color is only available on the AMG, and that too by special request. I don't know what special request means, but I'm guessing it will be an optional color, which you'll probably have to spend a lakh or two more. But I would suggest you opt for that because that really makes the A35 stand out from the rest of the A-Class range, and it does turn a lot of heads. Honestly, on the road, this bright yellow car with all of this gloss black, it looks really cool. So how different is the A35 AMG from the regular A-Class limousine? It starts with this all-black theme, which makes the cabin look more sporty, but in terms of space, it is the same as the A-Class limousine. The differences are in these front seats. These are sport seats, so they are harder but more supportive. You get these red seat belts. You get a nice flat-bottom AMG steering wheel, which looks and feels really good. The graphics for the virtual cockpit are also different, and it's got the super sport mode, which does look more sporty. But otherwise, this infotainment screen, this wide big infotainment screen, is the same, and it is shared with the A-Class limousine. What I have figured out, because I finally invested in a USB-C type cable for my iPhone, is that when you connect CarPlay actually doesn't use the full width of the screen. It is actually much narrower. So that is something that I have only learned today. It's got cool backlighting. So when the light goes down, when this backlighting shows up, it looks really cool, really sexy. It's got a sunroof, very important, but same size as the regular A-Class limousine. And it's got the dynamic mode selector. So you have got 5 different modes. It starts with slippery, which is useful in the snow, individual, comfort, sport, and sport plus. There is no sport exhaust button, but the engine note does become sportier in sport plus, and in sport plus you get race start. I've set it up in individual, where the dampers are in comfort, everything else is in full sport, and now we hit the road. So the A35 also has race start. You put it into sport plus, left foot on the brake, right on the gas, race start, release brake, The gear shifts are harder. You can feel that thud. And it does accelerate really well. 0 to 100 claimed is 4.8 seconds, and I have no reason to question that claim. It is quick. It does feel really quick. Now this is an AMG, so we obviously have to start with the engine. Now all your queries on how different is this from the CLA 45? Well, actually it is a fair bit different, because the CLA 45, that got a proper AMG engine. It was still a 4-cylinder 2-liter turbocharged petrol engine, but that for a while had the highest specific output of any engine in its category. This gets the M260 engine, which is a regular series Mercedes Benz engine. You will also find it in the other range, like the GLC 200 for instance. Out there, the engine makes 194 bhp, but here in the A35 AMG, because of the twin-scroll turbocharger and of course strengthened internals, the power, it goes up to 302 bhp, torque 400 Newton meters of torque. It uses Mercedes-Benz's own twin-clutch automatic gearbox, the 7-speed automatic. It gets race start with the Sport Plus mode, and it definitely feels much quicker. If you compare it with the A Class Limousine, the petrol, this has almost twice the power, and it feels fast. Now the second set of questions on the chassis. The chassis, it has been strengthened. So it's got this aluminum brace, and it's got strut braces, so the front is stiffened, the rear subframe is also stiffened, it gets different bushes, all AMG specific tuning, and that does make it more agile, more responsive. Because the front end is stiffened, the steering is more responsive. It rides firmer, that's for sure. It rides lower, so you have to be careful over speed breakers, over bad patches of road, because this is a stiff car. It is a proper AMG in that sense. And of course it gets paddles for the steering wheel. How easy is it to accidentally lose traction at the rear? It's next to impossible. Unless you have a slippery surface, for instance like a broken road, or there's gravel on the road, or it's a wet slippery surface. But otherwise, this is natively front wheel drive. It is all wheel drive. It has an electronically operated multi-plate clutch which sends power to the rear wheels. Now it sends power to the rear wheels when slip is detected. Otherwise it is majorly front wheel drive. What it does is that it is predictive. It is not reactive. So it's not like the front has lost traction and then power is sent to the back. So you don't really get any torque steer and all of that. So in that sense, the system is pretty quick, but it is not rear biased. Only up to 50% of the torque can be sent to the rear. So majorly front wheel drive, and it handles like a hot front wheel drive car. Now, front wheel drive cars also handle extremely well, but they are precision machines. Unlike rear wheel drive cars where you can slide it around, a front wheel drive car relies on precision. You drive a front wheel drive car with the nose. You point the nose into the apex, you hit the apex, and you rely on the front for grip. And in terms of grip, there is plenty of grip on the A35. This rides on 18-inch tires, so these are wider and lower profile tires than the regular A Class Limousine. We told you about the A Class Limousine being a bit soft and not that sharp. The A35, it is sharp. It is very predictive. It actually turns into corners very well. The nose goes darting and hunting for the apex. You can feel a bit of that weight transfer. You can't make it slide around, but it handles like a very well sorted front wheel drive car. Is the A35 AMG chuckable? Of course it is chuckable. A corner, chuck it into a corner, it turns really well. The front end bite is extremely good. But if you're asking me if when you chuck it and then get on the power and then you can get the tail to come out, that does not happen. This is, like I said, natively front wheel drive. Of course, power does get sent to the back wheels also, but this handles like a very well sorted front wheel drive car. There's great bite, very responsive, very immediate, very direct the steering is, but it is front wheel drive. Well, I am driving it on an Indian road, am I not? You have to be careful over speed breakers because this is low and it does touch on those nasty speed breakers. It also will touch when you go over those bumpy off-road patches. So in that sense, you have to be careful. The ride is stiff, but it is not uncomfortably stiff. This tells you that you are in a high-performance car, which in my mind and my opinion is a good thing. You're driving a fast car, it should also feel like a sporty fast car. So if you think of the AMG experience as being a C63 for instance, or even madder, a GT63, obviously not, right? This is your baby AMG. This will be priced around 50-55 lakh rupees. The GT63 is almost 2 crore rupees. So you obviously will not get that mad experience. This is the starter point into the whole AMG range. So you start to experience what a fast performance car feels like, and then you graduate to something mad. But if you're thinking about AMGs as being those hooligan 63s where you bonfire the rear tires and you go through the entire corner sideways, obviously not. It's not. But in terms of a fast, well-sorted, entry-level performance car, it is there. Am I satisfied with the exhaust note? Honestly, I'm never satisfied with the exhaust note. So I'm not satisfied with the exhaust note on the M340i. Neither am I satisfied with the exhaust note on the A35. I would like it to pop and bang a little bit more, be a little bit more audible. But these cars have to pass noise by regulation. So you buy the car and then you go to Akrapovic or whatever, whoever, and get a louder exhaust. I have to point out that it is illegal. You cannot use it legally on the road. So there's your warning. But am I satisfied? I'm never satisfied. If you ask me, am I satisfied with the power? I would always want more power also. We are greedy, aren't we? Kitna deti hai? Obviously, you had to ask that question, right? And I've got the answer. 13.39 kmpl. This car is made in India, so obviously it has to go through ARAI homologation, and the figure tested by the ARAI is 13.39 kmpl. So if the AMG and the M340i were priced the same, I would take the M340i. But I do not think the AMG and the M340i will be priced the same. I think the AMG will undercut it, and that will be our conclusion. And finally, all those queries on the A35 AMG or the BMW M340i. Well, to be honest, and I'm not trying to skirt the question, but these two cars are in two different segments and we expect the price differential to be between 8 to 10 lakh rupees. It has to be, right? Because the BMW, it's got a bigger engine, a 6-cylinder. It makes more power, it is quicker. The X-Drive, it allows you to actually drift the car. It also has more space inside. So definitely the A35 AMG will undercut it, and this will be the most affordable of the fast German performance cars. This is fast. It is quick. It is fun to drive. Also, it gets you into the world of low-slung and stiff cars. And once you experience this, once you dip your toes into AMG ownership, then you graduate into all those mad, powerful, big AMGs. As a starter kit for fast cars, the A35 AMG does a really cool job. Subscribe to the Evo India channel and hit the bell icon to keep pace with the thrill of driving.